I woke up this morning to the messiest and most fun drama on TikTok that I've probably ever witnessed. Ooh, this is my first time. This is my first time doing a drama video. Most dramas are usually somebody's very obviously in the wrong and somebody else is very obviously in the right. Somebody did somebody else wrong and then, oh, this secret came out. Oh, but this person's claiming this thing. Oh, this person can dispute it with this screenshot and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's very simple cookie cutter. This one is just so messy. It is more messy than a 14-year-old's bedroom, dude. It is the messiest thing. There are so many claims being made. There's so many people trying to hold themselves out of the situation. There's so many people that are part of the situation that haven't spoken yet, and it all connects and ties in a way that is, dude, I feel like that meme of, I think his name is Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with all the red lines, dude. But before we get into it, I'm a scissor person, the internet substitute, and I haven't been this excited about anything in a long time. Stick around. This is gonna be a long video. Stick around for the entire thing because this is the most fun and exciting story. Bro, I don't even, just watch. Just watch. I have nothing else to say. Just watch. I do have something else to say. If you like the video, please like down below. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. So it starts off with Courtney, okay? Courtney went to a bar with her friends. While at this bar, she was of course eating and drinking whatever, and she wanted to apply a happy hour discount that she claims to have seen in the bathroom when she went to the bathroom on a flyer. And this is already where the messiness starts. Apparently the happy hour only goes until 6 o'clock and then starts again at 8 o'clock, and she was there at 7:20. We don't find this out until later. She started at 7:20 and she stayed until 8:30 and wanted to have her discount. Well, the discount was not deducted from her final receipt, from her final total, and she asked the waitress where the discount was. Let me preface this whole thing by saying I have been a manager for 3 years in 2 different establishments. I was a manager at a movie theater, and now I've been a manager at a restaurant for 2 years. I am very well versed in customer interaction. Very, very well versed. I know what means what, how people interact in certain situations and why they do so, and how you should react accordingly from both the customer and the worker standpoint. The way that she did this was extremely rude and condescending.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, let's see. Is that with the happy hour discount?
You hear the waitress say, I'm ready whenever you are. And then Courtney says, okay, let's see. Also sounded like a teacher. Like she sounds like a teacher who gave you a test to correct. And then you go back to correct it. Then you walk up showing her the corrected test. And she goes, okay, let's see. That gives the tone of voice of expecting there to be an issue. So she already knew something was going on.
Is that with the happy hour discount? That's why he told me to remind you.
Is that with the happy hour discount? The waitress goes, obviously thinking, trying to figure out the situation. And Courtney goes, that's why they told me to remind you, while making hardcore eye contact. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows that this is very rude and that she's putting the waitress on the spot. She knows this. Very rude and condescending, and any waitress would feel, or any waiter, any person in general would feel some sort of way about being approached like this, because the way she did it, she didn't go, oh, is this a receipt? Excuse me, but the discount is missing from a happy hour. She didn't do it in a cordial, respectful way, but instead she goes, where's the happy hour discount? That's why they told me to remind you, while the waitress is trying to talk. So she interrupts her. She says, where's the happy hour discount, or has the happy hour discount been deducted? And before the waitress gets to respond, she goes, that's why they told me to remind you. Very condescending. Very, not only on like a employee customer sort of basis, but just as a human being, very rude. This does not excuse what happens later in this drama. Now, the waitress, you can hear from her tone of voice and the way that she's conversing with Courtney that she's very new. You can sense it immediately. If you know how new employees act, you can tell that this is new territory for her. She doesn't really know how to react. She doesn't know really what to say, and she probably is going to need help in the situation, which she walks away to go get help. Okay? This waitress remains unnamed, and I think she should remain unnamed. She's very new to this. I don't think she should be involved in any sort of drama. Well, the next video Courtney shows, this all happens on one of Courtney's lives. For some reason, she's on live on Instagram. She says she's a content creator. I didn't look into if she's actually, like, everybody calls themselves a content creator now. So I don't know if she's like an established content creator, but she was definitely on live on Instagram or TikTok or wherever. While she was on live, she shows this interaction with the happy hour discount, and then she shows the next interaction where a different waitress named Maddie walks up to the table, asks her what's the problem.
Her size correctly.
What's the issue over here?
I think you should talk to him because he already confirmed it with me.
I just asked what's the issue.
Okay, so now when Maddie walks up, also super rude and condescending off rip. Super rude and condescending off rip, Maddie is. I don't know why I turned into Yoda for a second there. But she asks, what's the issue? And Courtney goes, oh, it's already been dealt with, okay? Fine, if it's already been dealt with, it's already been dealt with. But then Maddie insists on wanting to know what the issue is.
She didn't apply your happy hour discount like she was supposed to.
Okay, well, let's not be a bitch. She's gonna get it taken care of. You don't even.
What's your name?
And then she asks again, what's the issue? Courtney tells her what the issue is, and Maddie replies by saying, well, you shouldn't be such a bitch. Huh? Let's not be a bitch. We're gonna get it taken care of. Crazy. Crazy. On a customer service basis, fired. Gone. You're out. Yeah, dude, I don't care what the background is. If I'm the manager, right? I don't care what the background is. If you cannot contain yourself within your working hours, fired. I don't need you here. You're pulling the team down. That's just what it is. So Courtney immediately goes, "What's your name?" Like that. We find out later this was a rhetorical question because she 100% knows what her name is. She goes, "What's your name?" And then immediately jumps up and goes, "Where's your manager? Where's your manager?"
Here. What's your name?
Just be quiet.
Where's your manager?
I just recorded what you just said, right?
Can I speak to a man?
This is a sign. When I said that I have managerial experience, this is a sign. If they immediately ask for a manager, they already planned on causing a problem. If it's immediate, because any employee, like even with the whole Karen stuff going on, any customer who has an issue, they will legitimately keep that issue going with the employee for as long as possible. Even after a slur has been dropped, even after a name has been called, they will keep this going until at some point when they see no way to go further, then they'll ask for a manager or something else. This is way too quick. And this isn't me reading into it or wanting to try to push some sort of bias to anything. It's way too quick. Just in a basic customer-employee interaction level, she immediately goes, "What's your name? Where's your manager?" And then jumps up and starts to record and then takes a picture of Maddie for proof. Okay, at this point, we're all on the thing. So let's lay the playing field. Courtney didn't get her happy hour discount, was rude to a new employee. Maddie, for some reason, walks up, tries to start some shit, and calls her a bitch. This is where we're at. This video went viral to almost 300,000 likes, 3 million views. This is going on. The next video is a story time from Courtney, okay? It has good lighting. She's sitting in her little nightgown. Hers done. This is important for later. Let's just keep that in mind that she looks good in this video, okay?
Okay, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everyone who left a negative Google review because this is the most disgusting experience I've ever had.
Next tell, she starts off not by saying thank you guys for the support, but instead saying thank you for leaving bad reviews. That was her goal. She wanted there to be bad reviews. That was her goal from the jump, is to either get to Maddie's reputation or the reputation of her workplace. Very obvious, very telling. Very, very, very telling.
We get there, as soon as we get there, mind you, no one greeted us.
She just said that nobody greeted them when they showed up.
Prior to ordering my high noon, our server, it was a long check I don't know. She had walked past us and I said hi and she went without greeting us again.
Okay, so apparently the waitress who was being, stumbly and awkward and shy, she had ignored them when they said hi to her. That hasn't been confirmed or denied yet.
I get back in the app, we finish our food and my friend asked our server for the check because she hadn't even come over to check on us and asked like, "How's the food? Do you need anything?" So he flags her down and is like, "Hey, can we get the check?"
He flagged her down. She keeps referring to him as her friend. It's four of them. We find out at some point it's four of them sitting at the table. It's important to state, she keeps referring to him as her friend. There is a big thing missing when she says that. This is also a giant tell. She keeps referring to him as her friend. No further context. There's a lot of context missing when she says this, okay? These videos are in chronological order. It is important to state that at this point, on the third video that we see, the third point of context we are given to the situation, she only ever refers to the guy as her friend, all right?
She's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, well, the bartender said to remind you about the happy hour because it's not integrated in your POS. And she's like, okay. And she looks a little bit lost. And she's like, okay. And then...
So apparently they had told the waitress that they should remind the bartender of the happy hour. And they forgot to do it.
She finally comes back. It took her a while. She comes back. And that's what I just posted. Like, you see me online. And she's literally just standing behind me, like breathing on my neck. And then I finally turn. And she's like... I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, so she says that the waitress was behind her, breathing down her neck, and at some point was like, "I'm ready whenever you are," which we do hear in the original video. The thing is, though, and I see this with new employees all the time, if they are new, they're super shy, especially if she's talking to somebody or talking to her phone or whatever, they don't know how to insert themselves into that situation. They don't know how to display their presence. That's something you need to learn when you're in a customer service sort of position. Display your presence. So it's not to interrupt, it's not to force yourself in, but just to display your presence and show that you are available. Show that you are ready to do whatever is going on. So if she doesn't know how to do that, then at some point she probably has heard "ready whenever you are" when she went to a restaurant herself or whatever. So that was how she did. Now, again, let me say, we haven't heard this side of the story yet, or her side, or in general. Maybe she also has some sort of fish in play here. I don't even know if that's a saying. Maybe she also has some sort of horse in the race here. Who knows? But at this point, for me, it just sounds like a new shy employee.
I think somebody commented like, "Oh, well, you were being rude on your phone." It's your restaurant. You're supposed to assert yourself. This is your room. You should have said, "Hey, I'm ready to take your payment whenever you are." Don't just stand there, So then now I have to assert myself and speak up because you fell short in that area.
Yeah, so she's just completely what's the negative term for empathetic? Obviously apathetic to this girl or woman, whatever she is, being a new employee to this establishment.
And then the girl Maddie comes back, and mind you, nobody at this establishment had a smile on their face. The bartender was exceptionally kind to me, but the women that worked there, Maddie and the blonde-haired girl, were very rude, drab, lifeless even, you know, like obviously hate their job.
Obviously hate their job. That's so weird. She's being so descriptive. Maybe it was just a slow day. We find out later that there were only 8 people in the bar. Maybe everybody's just hanging out and chill. Maybe it's hot. You know, there's a lot of reasons why people would be down in an establishment. Like that it doesn't have to be like they hate their job and everything sucks.
And it wasn't even busy. I think it was 3 parties sitting at tables, and then it was the 2 people that I met there at the bar, as well as like.
And that's another thing. She's saying it wasn't busy. If it's not busy, that sucks. Days that aren't busy, like super busy sucks, but not busy at all also sucks, because now you're just wasting time diddling your fingers in the middle of a restaurant. Like there's nothing going on. You've listened to Anxiety by Doechii for the 15th time, and now you're just waiting for your shift to be over or for something that actually happens. So it makes sense why they would be looking down.
Maybe 2 or 3 other people, but again, you have bartenders for the bar customers, you know? So Maddie comes up, she says what she says, and then I immediately like disengage. Like I don't even want to, like, I'm like, where's the manager? And you see me get up and follow her, but I think immediately in that moment, the manager, I'm assuming it was the manager, comes out the back door to the kitchen. And I start telling her, like, look, your staff member just called me the B word. Like, I have a video of it. Like, this is disgusting. It's literally over happy hour. And the manager actually low-key blows me off. She, like, runs to the back. Maddie comes up to in this moment, and she starts talking as if she knows me, like, you're not even supposed to be here, X, Y, and Z. This girl, mind you, I've seen her physically on one other occasion. I knew nothing about her until this day.
Do I even need to explain that? Maddie shows up and says, you're not even supposed to be here. After claiming that she doesn't know, after Courtney claims that she doesn't know who she is, now admits she has seen her on one other occasion. Also not full context.
I know your name. I barely even know your face. Like, I know your face now, but that.
I know your name. She says, I know your name. I don't even know. So she knows who she is. She's claimed to not know who she is, but now follows up by saying she knows who she is.
You couldn't have told me, like, pick out Madison out of a butt. Or I don't even know her name's Madison. I think it's something else.
Okay, another very big tell in any situation. The more somebody insists on not knowing somebody is more proof that they know who they are. Or at least they're aware of who that person is. That doesn't mean that they've met, because she says at some point, we'll see this in the next video, she says in the next video that for her, knowing somebody is introducing them, and that's not what knowing somebody is. Knowing somebody is knowing somebody. I know who Will Smith is. I know Will Smith. I have never shaken hands with Will Smith. I know who he is. That's just not how that works.
I couldn't even pick her out of the bunch. But so she comes up, like, talking about me, and I'm like, do you see what's going on? Like, this girl's obsessed with me. Like, I really don't know her.
This girl's obsessed with me. It is a single interaction in a restaurant. If it was a single interaction restaurant, you wouldn't claim somebody's obsessed with you. You wouldn't.
And then another one of the staff members comes out, and I'm like, this lady just called me out of my name. And then she tells her coworker, I don't know if it was the chef, but she tells her, like, yeah, I told her, like, don't be a bitch. And the lady goes, we do not talk to our customers like that. And she immediately jets to the back of the kitchen and brings the manager back. And, like, I'm telling the manager, like, I have a video, like, I'm posting this on the internet. She's like,
Okay, so she says that the one manager reacts like how she should react. If you hear that you're one of the customers or one of the employees called a customer a bitch, you should blow up. And we find out later that she did blow up, because another bartender that works at this restaurant will speak out later on.
I really hope you don't. I'm like, I posted on the internet. She's like, I will give you 50. She's like, normally this is what the happy hour is. So the bartender had it incorrect. The bartender was unaware of what happy hour actually consists of, and that's what the manager corrected me on, but really she needed to be correcting her staff. But okay, I get it. She's like,
okay, that was a very weird sequence of sentences. She said that the bartender messed up. The manager corrected Courtney on what's going on when she should have corrected the bartender. That just doesn't make sense.
She's like, typically, this is what happy hour is. This is what's going on in June. But because of what just took place, I'm going to give you 50% off whatever you want to order.
Okay, she's leaving out context that we're going to figure out later. What I said about happy hour being between 10 and 6 and then being between 8 and 10, she completely leaves out that she was very obviously made aware of this when talking to the other manager, that she had ordered at 7 something and stayed until 8. That's why they wouldn't apply the discount. But now she's still going to apply the discount just because of the whole interaction. In German, we call this Kulanz. I don't know what that is in English. Goodwill? Okay, that's a weird translation. But no, Kulanz is something that you do if, like, just giving, you know, finding middle ground, I'd say. As a establishment, giving something that you don't necessarily need to give as to equal it out, but you do because, you know, you want to be a good host for your customer, right?
Whatever you want to order. But at this point, we're leaving. I wanted the check to go. So I go back and sit down, and Maddie's still kind of like talking, whatever, because like I said, she thinks she knows me.
Maddie's still talking because she thinks she knows me. Girl, you are not slick. You are not slick.
And then I think I start replying back like, okay, I'm gonna have to get into this in another part, but she
never goes back into it. she was about to tell what she said, but stopped herself because she know whatever she said she shouldn't have said. And she says, I'll go into it in a later part. She never goes back to it. So messy! So messy, dude. What? So messy. Oh my God, I'm
there for at least
spazzing.
another like 5 minutes without the check. And then finally I get up to go take a video of Maddie, because I'm like, I'm including that in the...
Yeah, let me show everybody what this girl looks like so she can get bullied out of existence. Because apparently what I'm doing to bully her isn't enough.
The manager kind of sees me get up, and I was not going over there to stir the pot or anything. I literally got up, took the video, walked away. You can see, like, if I post the whole thing, like, you can see the video was like on my feet. I put the camera up to her face, and then I walk away. And you could probably hear the manager like, no. But the manager then is like, you know what, like, this is too much. I don't know what you guys have going on, because she's like insinuating that there's like a personal issue. And
she took a video of Maddie, but she never shows a video of Maddie. She only ever shows a screenshot of what Maddie looks like. Why is this? Why does she not? She said, so okay, let's put 2 and 2 together. She started talking about whatever she said during this interaction, but cut herself off because she didn't want to get into that. Says she's going to get into a later date, never does. And now she says that she took a video of Maddie so she could add to the video, but she never showed the video. She only showed a screenshot. Add the first situation with the second situation, you get somebody trying to hide something.
That there's like a personal issue, and she's just like, I just can't have this, you know, happen at my establishment. I don't know if it was manager, I don't know if it was the owner. I saw the pictures of the owner. I'm having a hard time recalling if that's the same person or not. But so I'm asking her, like, so do I have to pay? Because I'm under the impression that I have to pay 50% off the tab.
Now, if I was the manager and this happened, you get the food for free. I mean, that's just what it is. But, you know, I don't know how they do things. This is also America. I work in Germany, different type of situation. So, yeah, but I understand that.
And she's like, no, at this point, no, like, you don't have to pay.
Okay, good. So she let her get off the tab. That's okay.
And I think I walked out and I was like, I'm taking my business back to Clayton, because Clayton is like a more affluent area in St. Louis. And no, they're not the only good place with food, but they have decorum. You know, like, these people here were absolutely out of their minds. I don't know what type of employee conduct.
Okay, yeah, that's weird to talk about a different area being higher class than somewhere else. Not necessarily higher class, but having more decorum than somewhere else. That's weird. We had a customer one time who got into it with one of our employees. I wasn't there on the day that it happened, but I did get a phone call from him a couple days later, and he was like, I just want to know if the employee was reprimanded correctly, because you can go to this other part of the city and you can act like that, but not here, not in this part of the city, because I work in kind of like a nicer, higher class area of the city. And I was like, dude, are you an asshole? Are you like a giant bitch? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then at that point I was like, okay, I kind of get why the employee interacted with him the way that they did.
Employee conduct training that they have, but it fell by the wayside. Everything that happened was totally uncalled for, because again, you see the video, you see I'm not even talking to the staff unless I'm spoken to. It was just completely left field what happened, and that's the entirety of it.
She said, you see the video, you see that I didn't even speak to the staff unless I'm spoken to. She only ever showed up until the point where she got up to get the manager, even though she supposedly recorded the rest of the interaction, even though she supposedly got video of everything else that went down, but hasn't shown any of it.
I mean, I told you I could give you a part 2 regarding, you know, other things, but that was the entirety of the interaction.
I told you I can give you a part 2 regarding the other things. She never does. She gives us a part 2, but not regarding the other things. She just never mentions those other things again, ever. So we got the situation from Courtney's side, right? She went to the bar with her friends, was interacted in a very poor customer service manner, hiding a lot of stuff, trying to be slick, very sneaky, very sus, the way that she speaks about this whole situation. But if you didn't know any better, you would think, okay, Courtney 100% did everything that she should be doing, was somewhat rude in the original interaction with the waitress, but after that was called the B word. She was called a bitch by this other waitress. She's 100% in the moral right, and this waitress is completely wrong. The establishment reacted in a certain way that could be possibly disagreeable, but it all depends on what your establishment is and how your establishments act in these situations. So let's move on to the establishment's reaction to this. The establishment is called Craft something, STL, Craft STL, whichever state that is, or county or whatever. Oh, it's St. Louis. STL is St. Louis, obviously. And it is a women-owned craft beer restaurant / bar, okay? And the owner of this bar, her name is Danny, I think it is. Her name's Danny, right? Danny reacts to this video, to this whole interaction, and makes a apology video, but in reality, it's just a none of my business type of video. She's like, this has nothing to do with me and my establishment. And oh my God, I just thought about this. I spilled water all over the floor. Fuck, there's water on the floor.
Good afternoon, St. Louis, and most importantly, Courtney. My name is Danny Davis. I'm the owner of Crafted, and we met briefly last night. I am now coming on here to address what everybody wants me to address and respond to the videos that you're making and dragging Crafted through the mud and trying to destroy my business. I don't know what I ever did to you or what Crafted did to you, but you know what we did. I apologize. You're not lying. It was very accurate. I think the context could have been a little different because, you know, all of your followers are now attacking my business, and a personal issue that you have with one of my employees is now ruining a small neighborhood business, woman-owned business. And then there's been a lot of lies. I don't know how it turned with all the comments and stuff that we've been getting, but I assure you, and I assure everybody out there and all of your followers that no, we don't condone like our employees calling customers any name, let alone bitches.
So, and this is why I got excited. She very much takes the stance. The owner of Z7, I'm not even gonna watch the whole video. She 100% takes the stance of this is between them. I have nothing to do with it. You guys are review bombing and leaving negative reviews on my bar or restaurant. I don't deserve this. This is between them, without saying this is between them. But she very obviously knows it's between them. Her demeanor and her reaction to it is very much like I don't know. It's very much not taking accountability for it is her employee, and her employees shouldn't be like acting like that, like on the clock. But she's also very much taking the stance of this has nothing to do with us. This is not a random, like this is not regular behavior from my employees. It's definitely a personal situation between the two of them. Like you can very much tell that that's her attitude towards the situation. The next video comes after the boss's response to what was going on, but I'm not sure anymore if she ever replies to that. So this is a reply that Courtney made to somebody saying, why does she feel like she knows you, referring to Maddie. Why does Maddie feel like she knows Courtney? Because people want context and a background, right? And Courtney gives that to a certain extent.
I'm going to address this as well as a couple other things. First, the owner of Crafted has posted a video reply, an apology, quote unquote.
Oh, again, important. Look how she's combing her hair. She's done up. She looks good. This is still an important note. She looks good for the camera for the recording, right?
And she says that Maddie is on permanent probation. She's been removed from the schedule, but no, she has not been fired.
Forgot to mention that during the boss's video, she says that Maddie hasn't been fired, but she's been put on something called permanent probation. Permanent probation meaning if she slips up again, she's gone. She's out. That's kind of like last straw type of situation. Awkward that that's what she did, but as I said, if there is more context to there being a personal issue between the two, I actually understand that from a managerial standpoint. From a managerial standpoint, it could be like, okay, especially if that employee is otherwise a really good employee, if they had a personal issue and it was like one slip up, I know I said I would fire them off rip, but if it's explained to me and I can empathize with their situation or understand it or whatever, you know, then maybe I'll give a little bit of leeway. But at the moment, we know Maddie, permanent probation, not fired. Courtney feels some sort of way about it.
She also states that I did not lie. She's reviewed my videos and my recounting of the situation is accurate. So I honestly don't feel the need to explain myself further about what took place.
I don't feel the need to explain myself further about what took place. That's her excuse for not having to follow up on what she said she's going to follow up on, with it, which is how she acted after the video cut off. That's pretty much what that is.
But there's some little trolls who keep popping up on my page, mentioning a man.
The man. The man. The man is it's the skull in Indiana Jones. It's the Infinity Gauntlet in the Avengers. It's that one staff from Transformers Age of Extinction that doesn't matter at the end of the movie. But if it would matter at the end of the movie, the man, it's all the man. It all leads back to the man. We'll find out soon.
I tried to reply to the reviews on Google and state that there was some sort of issue that I had with Maddie over a man, and I want to address that.
Yes, address it.
And that is it for the rest of this because
What'd you get to say?
Said, I didn't lie. So Maddie, I do not know Maddie. When you say you know someone, In my opinion, that means you guys have had a conversation, you introduce yourselves. That's never taken place.
That's not what knowing somebody is. That's meeting somebody. You can know somebody without doing all that. She's not straw manning. It could possibly be referred to as straw manning. She's finding reasons to explain her cockamamie reasons from the past.
Upon arriving at Crafted, after being in the vicinity of Madison, that's not even her name. I keep saying that because I don't really know her name. I just assume.
And then, dude, this is also such a typical thing. Saying somebody's name wrong and then acting like you don't know how the right thing is. You know how to say their name the right way. It's very obvious. It's the same as somebody goes, yeah, Madison or Madeline, whatever her name is, and her name is obviously Madison. And I've seen this happen before as well, where somebody goes, yeah, they would go, Sam said, like, or Sammy or whatever their name is, like that kind of thing. Whatever their name is, that is so dismissive of the fact that you know what their name is. That is a slight. That is a slight of diss. That is you trying to diss. It's a sub diss. You're trying to diss them as if you're trying to make their existence less valuable or less known. Like, it is so obviously degrading.
Maddie, Madison, okay, my association with Maddie always goes to Madison, but that's not her real name. Her name is Madeline, okay?
All right, we don't give a fuck.
So upon arrival, one of my friends was like, oh, you know, Maddie works here. And I was like, who's that? Because I genuinely don't know her, but I have seen her in passing. And they're like, oh, you know who that is. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess.
Oh! Admittance. She goes, who is that? She definitely, okay, wait, let's listen to that again.
One of my friends was like, oh, you know, Maddie works here. And I was like, who's that? Because I genuinely don't know her, but I have seen her in passing. And they're like, oh, you know who that is. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care has never been said by a person who doesn't care. That just doesn't happen. Because if you don't care, you wouldn't care enough to say I don't care. And based off her attitude so far, I can tell that at that time, when the other friend said, oh, that's Madison, and she goes, I don't know who that is, she purposely said that to make it seem like Maddie's existence didn't matter to her. Because right after that, the friend goes, oh, no, you know who that is. She's this and that. And then she goes, yeah, I do know who she is, but whatever, I don't care. Tells, lies, and deception, dude, all around.
Maddie knows my ex-boyfriend who was also at Crafted with us.
Remember the friend that she mentioned? That's her ex-boyfriend. The friend she mentioned is her ex-boyfriend. Me, I go, why are you at a bar with your ex-boyfriend? I'm not spending time with my ex. I'm not. If I had a relationship, everything was perfect, everything was great, and at the end of the relationship, we're like, okay, well, I guess this isn't really working out. You know, we can remain on like an acquaintance friend basis, sure. I'm not gonna go hang out with them in a free time. That's a recipe for disaster. That's just a recipe for disaster.
It was me, my ex-boyfriend, a friend of his, and then a friend of ours. The friend of his I'd already met on several occasions, and then the friend of ours is someone that I met through my ex-boyfriend who didn't know the other girl who I already met. So we all arrived together, obviously first arrived together. He had to tell us to meet him there. We'd already seen him previously in the day, and he was like, meet us at Crafted.
And now, no, dude, homie messy. This guy messy. We'll find out.
Some trolls keep insinuating like they have like a situationship, X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna tell you right now, he does not care about Maddie.
Oh, why is she telling us who he cares about? Because she says trolls on the internet are inferring that her ex-boyfriend and Maddie are in a situationship. Let you know that he doesn't care about her. What's it sound like, bro? High School Musical? What's it sound like, bro? Disney movie? Let's watch a Disney movie. Like, this sounds like drama times 1,000, and she's been avoiding it the entire time. He doesn't care about Maddie. He doesn't care about her. He cares about me. He doesn't care about her. He cares about me. I'm the one he cares about.
And I'm gonna tell you how we all know he doesn't care about Maddie. Because the time I saw Maddie in passing, he was lying to everyone saying that Maddie was his cousin. Lo and behold, Maddie is actually, and he didn't lie to me, but
oh, no, he didn't tell me. He didn't lie to me about it. He told everybody that this girl is his cousin. And why? Why is that the typical dude? It's such a well-known thing that guys refer to people that they hook up with as their cousins. That's such a typical thing. Like, oh, no, don't worry about it, it's my cousin. They get a text message that says, hey, boo-boo, I miss you and that big dick. And, like, the girl that they're actually with at that moment will be like, who is this? Who's Mary? And they're like, oh, that's just my cousin, don't worry. Why did Mary say that she missed you and your big dick? Oh, dick is what we call my parrot. But you can't see him right now. He's flying outside. And, yeah, he kind of doesn't like people, so you'll never see him, actually. That's what she was referring to. And the girl, this Kate Courtney, like, okay, sure. Like, what the fuck?
Lo and behold, Maddie is the friend of another girl we all know, right?
Uh-huh.
The other girl I've also met on several occasions, she's like a situationship to another male friend of ours who was not present, neither the girl nor the friend.
A lot of situationship. Guys, grow up. Grow up. Either be together or don't. Stop with the situation bullshit.
So Maddie needed a place to stay. She needed a couch to surf on for reasons I will not share right now.
Meaning she knows the reasons, meaning she knows Maddie.
And my ex-boyfriend let her stay at his place, mind you.
They fucked. Hard smash, all up in them guts. Courtney knows, and she doesn't want to admit it. Courtney is being purposely ignorant to the fact that her ex-boyfriend hooked up with this girl, and she doesn't like that because she very obviously still has feelings for him, or else she wouldn't be talking about him the way that she does. She's extremely jealous, highly, insanely jealous of Maddie, highly, insanely jealous, and Maddie hooked up with the guy.
Me and my ex-boyfriend are pretty much like this. There's nothing you could tell me about him that I don't already know. If people can't get in contact with him, a lot of times I'm the one that they're gonna call and see like, hey, have you talked to him? I pretty much have all access to his apartment, so even the time that Maddie came around and I seen her in passing, I was there.
I'm not even gonna talk about that. I'm not even gonna talk. You got? Can you not? You got? You have to hear it. You have to hear. Come on, guys. You have to hear it. You got? Come on. You know.
I'm over there sometimes, not even sometimes, more than I'm in my own apartment. I've been chilling in my own apartment.
She makes such a big deal out of the fact that her and her ex-boyfriend are so close. Girl, get over him. Get over him. Get over this guy.
This past like week and a half, for reasons again that I'm not gonna share right now. But on any other day or week, I would be over there. I'm over there majority of the time.
Also, being the ex and having full access to your ex's apartment is insane.
So yeah, I already knew what was up with Maddie. Again, I don't know her. I didn't even know her real government name until this morning, last night. And like I said, he does not care about her. If he cared about her, he wouldn't have her in the face of his ex-girlfriend, who everybody loves, honestly. He wouldn't have invited.
I'm sorry, girl. He don't care about you. You're the one he doesn't care about. And you're super arrogant for saying in front of an ex-girlfriend that everybody loves. Courtney, baby, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Courtney is desperately in love with this guy. He doesn't give a fuck about her. He doesn't care about her whatsoever. She's just a toy to him. She cannot realize that. She doesn't want to see it. She's being played with and blaming Maddie. Typical women blaming each other instead of the dude. Just can't get over it. And then she says that the girl everybody loves, dude. Oh my God, just horrible.
He wouldn't have invited me to her place of employment if he knew that was going to create hostility and anger and muster of feelings with her and her only because I don't have problems with her. I don't really know her.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I don't get why that's just messy on his part. I think this guy's just an asshole. Obviously, big asshole. I think he purposely brought them to the same place together to see what happens, you know? He's probably giggling and chuckling, which is why we haven't heard from him or his side of the story or anything in that regard. Maybe he's just keeping out of general. This is just this guy's messy. This girl's messy. Everything's messy.
I know she's in a predicament where she needs help and assistance.
I know she needs help and assistance. So disrespectful, so degrading, so apathetic.
And she could trauma bond with my ex all she wants. But like I said, I've grown to learn my ex like the back of his hand.
I've grown to learn my ex like the back of his hand. Dude, she is obsessed with this guy. She's obsessed because it's what like the back of my hand is the saying. The back of his hand is crazy.
I put something on here that I can't show receipts of. And like I said, the owner just said I'm not lying. So I would have never got on here and posted anything if I knew that I was lying and could be debunked.
The owner just said that she wasn't lying about the interaction. She didn't say anything about anything else that occurred or that like was the relationships or the context or anything. She literally just was like, that's not my problem.
Why does she feel like she knows me? She thinks she knows me because of my ex-boyfriend.
But
if she knew me, she would have known that I was going to post that video of her on the internet. And no, we don't have control over going viral. But now I'm at almost 2 million views and she made herself look like an ass over a man that does not care about her. Yeah, she probably has some evil vendetta against me.
Yeah, probably.
Is she going to be able to take action on it? Absolutely not. No. But I do know for a fact you should not be calling your customers out of their name. You shouldn't be inserting yourself into problems with people who you know you actually don't like. And at your place of work, you should always be exhibiting professionalism. So again, a man keeps getting brought up. I don't want to bring him up because obviously... I
don't want to bring him up even though I just spent the half of the entire video talking about how close we are and how much he loves me.
Had nothing to do with a man and everything to do with the way that she was treating the customers of that establishment. So Again, she thinks she knows me because she knows my ex-boyfriend. She's seen me in passing. I've never introduced myself to her or vice versa. We've never had a conversation. I think she's absolutely insane.
She has very, 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 very deep opinions on a person she claims not to care about. Very, very deep.
Got what she deserved, and because I know her through the grapevine, or heard of her through the grapevine, I've heard plenty since I posted this video. So karma did what it needed to do, and
karma did what it needed to do. It wasn't me purposely making her out to be like this evil villain sort of witch thing. It's just karma coming as it comes.
my work here is done.
My work here is done. I'm not going to talk anything about this anymore. Okay, we're not done though. We're not done though. We're not done. We are not done, because the next video is the bartender from this bar that wasn't there on that day, but she got some some receipts. She got some shit to show. She's a little okay. She's a little more messy than the owner wanted to be. The owner was trying to remain this not my business. The bartender is more like, it's not my business, but you ain't explaining the full business either. You still got something to say.
What up, St. Louis? What it do, baby boos? And hello, Courtney. As you can see, I am at Crafted. I am making this video because currently there is a viral video going on TikTok for Crafted STL.
So the bartender is this lady, right? And I'm gonna be honest, she sounds like JoJo Siwa when she talks. She sounds like a weaker version of JoJo Siwa. Like if JoJo Siwa didn't spend most of her life yelling and shouting and screaming around, her voice would sound like this lady's voice. And she seems like a cool person, legit though. She apologizes on the bar's behalf of her bartender. It's actually a sincere apology. She definitely is like, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't be a thing, blah, blah. But then she goes on to give more context to the situation. She says she apologized for the bartender and bar thing, and then she gives context to the Maddie, Courtney, and the man situation. She says that Courtney's claim to not know who Maddie is false because...
Now, I was not working on that shift. What I can say is there's a few missing pieces. Number one, when she came in, we did have a different server. She sat with Maddie's friends. We have it on video footage. So I'm not sure the whole process of her saying that she didn't know who she was, because I'm going to show you in a minute how we know she did know. And also, again, Courtney, I apologize. I'm just speaking what we have as far as facts here, because this is part of my home. She came in, she sat down. What happens next? Whatever you guys have going on outside of here, I know you said you didn't know who Maddie was, you never met her a day in your life. I'm gonna have to beg to differ, and I am gonna show this part. You took this video.
Super messy, just horrible. All around horrible.
You see this gentleman right here? The reason that I know who he is because he came into the bar last Tuesday to see Maddie.
Yep.
He came into the bar last Tuesday to see Maddie. How do I know? Because I was tending the bar. He also left with her vehicle. Probably shouldn't have been driving. I don't know. That's your business, my guy. But it was her vehicle. And how do I know this? Is because I gave her a ride home.
Damn.
So this gentleman that you're hanging out with, I don't know if he's a trust fund basketball player. That's what I hear.
I don't know.
That got evicted from his place. Ooh. And there was like a restraining order happening. Some other stuff. Ooh. I don't know. Because
she definitely knows. She so knows. She's just as messy as everybody else. She's 100% knows what's going on. Actually, by the way, she's the coolest person. I think like she would be cool as fuck to hang out with. This bartender, I don't know, what's her name? Her username is Buzz. I think she'd be cool as fuck. She just seems like a good vibe.
But I do know that you know who that is. And I do know that you know who Maddie is.
Yep.
Now, the next video that I'm going to show is you coming into the restaurant and sitting with him. Maddie also sits down. She comes up and hugs her friends.
I forgot about this part. She now shows us footage from inside the bar where Maddie walks up to the group of friends that Courtney is with and hugs them after she said nobody greeted them. It's opening. I'm getting epiphanies. I'm epiphanizing right now. This is proving that they ignored Courtney. If Courtney felt like, so this is one of two things are true. Courtney either lied about them not greeting anybody, or they completely ignored Courtney because they already didn't like her. They already had a problem with her because everybody else was very obviously greeted in this video. You see it right away. Okay, now we're getting to the finale. Let's lay it out. We're getting to the finale. Courtney's being sus. A lot has been revealed about the man. A lot has been revealed about the previous relationship between everybody. And then we now have the final video, which is a response from Courtney to Buzz, who showed and gave context of what's going on.
So I genuinely appreciate the apology.
Okay. Now, this is where the result happens of when I said that she was dressed up in the first video, she was dressed up in the second video. Why do you think that she is now filming from a very, very poor angle, not being ready at all? The last 2 videos, she very obviously made a big deal. Like, she put a lot of effort into looking good for the videos. Why is she now filming from this position? This is the most I got position ever. This is the most you got me. Like, I'm caught. Hands up. This is what this is. She accepts the apology. She says thank you, sure.
My Google review did state that my experience was terrible. And I'm going to say my experience was terrible because of the damper that not only being called out in my name put on the experience, but the fact that there was a lot of tension amongst servers upon coming in. Like I said, we weren't greeted.
We weren't greeted, even though video shows they were greeted.
The only person who showed me kindness was the bartender, and when I had to make a complaint, the chef was very diligent in addressing that, and Danny did what she could to remedy the situation. I also included, I genuinely wanted to love that place. The menu, I loved what I had to eat. But
and this is this also sounds like she's trying to do some sort of course correction where she's talking up on the restaurant, the establishment, and wants to make it like, just even though she was so happy about the negative reviews for the restaurant, now she's saying that they had great food and everything was perfect, like everything was good. Yeah, she wanted to love it, all this different stuff. Yeah, no,
made uncomfortable like that, it definitely makes me not want to come back. And I don't think anybody would want to be in an establishment where the employees feel so comfortable yelling out derogatory terms like that woman did.
Now completely dismissing the fact that she has a name.
There's obviously a disconnect between Maddie and the rest of the table because she hugs one person. Just because she...
Dude, this isn't a get-together. She's still on the job. She's going to... I do this too. If a group of people I know walks in, I go to the person who is there for me. Let's say that one person in that group suggested, hey, let's go to this place because Manu's working there or whatever. I'll greet one person because I don't have time to go to each single person to greet them. Now, the restaurant's slow. It's a slow day, but still, you just don't do that. Is she supposed to walk around the table and introduce herself and greet everybody? No. She's on the clock. Do that once you get off of work and you go hang out with them or something. There's no reason for her to do that at this moment.
She hugs one person doesn't mean that we all know her because she's in our vicinity.
You don't know her because she's in your vicinity. You know her because she's been fucking your ex-man. That's why you know her. What the fuck you talking about vicinity, bro? She was in the vicinity of the bed that you once slept in. That's what your problem is.
I posted a couple story times, and I made it very clear. I've seen her in passing, but I don't know that woman. I've never had a full conversation with that woman. We've never introduced ourselves to each other. Obviously, I know the man that you posted because it's on my page. I'm fully aware of the situation that you just mentioned, but I also don't feel the need to out him for anything that he has going on in his personal life because of the poor service of a woman that he knows. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, she caught shit for it. And after that, she hasn't said anything since then. That was 3 hours ago. But this was so fun. I woke up this morning. That was the first video that showed up on my TikTok, and I loved every second of it. And now to the point where I now recorded almost an hour just talking about this situation. What do you think? How do you feel about this? Am I being too harsh on Courtney? Am I looking too deep into it? I know I'm not. I've said this in the past a lot of times. I'm very autistic, and my main autistic trait is needing to understand people and human beings because I don't have my own, like, I don't have a natural connection to that kind of stuff. So I like watching it. So I know this type of shit. She's obsessed with this girl who's sleeping with her ex-man, and the ex-man is playing everybody. What do you think? Do you also see it this way? Or do you think, oh, this was just a throw-off connection? This was just a throw-off interaction between a server and an employee and a customer that went wrong, and she was fully in the right, she should get all her money back, she should get 10,000 apologies, all this stuff? Or do you think this is as messy as it obviously is? And my girlfriend asked me, she said, like, I think, she said, you should start watching trash TV, I think you would love it. I don't like trash TV because it's scripted. They're told what to say and how to say. The relationships are developed the way that the producers and the writers want them, so there's no difference. And so I feel like I'm being lied to because I can just watch a TV show at that point. This is real life. This ain't scripted. These are people being naturally messy, and it's naturally enjoyable to watch and keep up with. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. Do you also find this enjoyable? Do you also think this is a crazy situation? If you like this video, please like and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you next time. Peace.